Hi guys, this is Jiggy, a portrait and wedding photographer from the Philippines, and welcome to the channel. So in this video, I want to discuss with you some questions that photographers keep asking but should stop. I repeat, they should stop asking these questions because it doesn't make them any better. Okay, don't get me wrong, because I do love answering all your questions. I love being able to interact, especially here in YouTube. And also my social media accounts like Facebook or Instagram. So if you want, you could follow me on Instagram. It's at Jiggy Alejandrino. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. It's just one click away. And again, if you guys have any questions or if you have any, well, hopefully not any violent reactions to this video, you could always leave it in the comment section below and let's have a chat there. But let me get back to the point of this video. I love helping people out. So if you guys are familiar with the channel, you know that I do love making educational content. And I do appreciate that when people ask me questions that I know will be for the betterment of their photography. But there are three very common questions that's asked of me, if not all the time, at the very least for every video or for every photo that I would post, I would get at least one of these questions, which is something that has been boggling my mind because I don't understand why people keep asking this question when I don't feel that there is any intrinsic value in making them better photographers. So what are these questions that I'm talking about? The first one, camera settings. For the life of me, I don't understand why people always ask for the camera settings. That's why sometimes I just put it there for them to just see so that they won't ask. But then there are times that I actually forget to put the camera settings, and lo and behold, for sure, somebody will ask me, what are your camera settings? Here's my take on that. Even if I give you my camera settings on that day, let's say I'll give you this picture. I'll show you guys this picture now. If I tell you that this was shot, let's say, with a shutter speed of 1/30 f4 ISO 100, will you be able to replicate this shot by going to the exact same location and shooting it with the exact same settings with my exact same camera and my exact same lens? You won't be able to because number one, whenever I am shooting an image, I am controlling my ambient light depending on the existing ambient light. In this particular image, I'll show you a BTS now. Oh, wait, no, I won't show you the BTS yet. I'll show it to you guys later. Because whenever I go into a scene, I actually look at the ambient light that I can control. I look at whether or not I'm going to add some flash, where I'm going to be composing, depending on how nice the light is. There might be some certain aspects, like in this particular image, the reason why I actually shot it here is because I like the symmetry, plus I like the two continuous lights on the side and that single chandelier on top that actually puts everything together. So that's where the basis of my exposure was. But if I were to ask that question, if I really wanted to learn from this particular image without seeing the BTS yet, the question would be what the existing ambient light was. Did I have to underexpose it or overexpose it? What did I base my exposure on? Did I turn off any of the other ambient lights? How come there's no people? Why did I decide to use a 16:35? Why did I compose it that way? There's so many other questions that are actually more important and will make you a better photographer more than the camera settings. But again, now I'm going to show you. This is how the scene actually looked. So, with this particular scene, if you knew my camera settings, you would be able to repeat it or redo that image immediately because of just the camera settings. No, it doesn't. It doesn't really help you because the camera settings for me, sometimes I don't even know what the settings are until I look at the EXIF data. I am an aperture priority shooter, so the only thing that I control is my aperture. So if you ask me what my aperture was, that's the only thing that I'll be able to answer, but I wouldn't know what my shutter speed is, or I wouldn't even know what my ISO is. Again, let's get over camera settings already and just look at the other things that we could actually ask, or the questions that we could actually ask that would be beneficial for us to become better photographers. Okay, so number two, it actually goes the same way as camera settings, and this is flash settings. With flash settings, they always ask, okay, what was the power of your flash? All right, so you're gonna ask me the power of my flash without knowing what flash I have, how far the flash was from my subject, what modifier I used, or, well, yeah, maybe just that first, and what my exposure was. All right, because I actually made a very detailed video regarding this. It's about mastering your flash. If you guys want to see it, I'll put a link in the description below. But basically, you have like 5 different exposure variables to be able to get the proper exposure for your flash. So if you just ask me what my flash power is, it doesn't really do you any good. So there's really no point in asking questions like that, because unless you know what the prevailing ambient light was, unless you know what my my exposure was in my camera, did I underexpose or overexpose, unless you know how far the light was from the subject, unless you know what modifier I used, unless you know what type of flash I used, flash power doesn't really mean anything. So again, I guess you guys are seeing where I am coming from in terms of it's best that you ask questions that would actually make you better photographers. So if you guys are familiar with the channel, you actually see that whenever I do a video, I actually try to give you all the information that I can so that it's very easy for you guys to replicate it in your home studio. I give you a BTS, more or less, of how far I am from the subject. I give you the lens that I use. I give you the camera. I give you all my settings in the camera. I give you the flash that I use. I give you the modifier that I use. I give you my flash power, and the flash to subject distance is also there. So basically, with all those factors, yes, if you know all that, then maybe you can actually emulate whatever it is that I am doing or what I am showing. But if you're just going to ask one of those particular things, then it doesn't really help you. So if you're going to ask, you ask an entire process. Or, to be honest, I love answering questions when people ask me, what was your thought process behind it? Why did you use that particular modifier? Why did you use that particular flash? Or why did you compose it that way? Or why was your lens that way? Why was the aperture set as that? Did you want bokeh, or did you want the entire scene to be clear? Those are the questions that you should always be asking. And like, for example, with me, if those are the questions that are asked, I'd gladly answer it and give you as much information as you want. Again, so camera settings and flash settings, guys, let's try to avoid it. Try to ask more detailed questions so that you get more specific answers that, again, will make you a better photographer. Now, the third one, I don't know, for some reason people will always ask me, can I see the SOOC, or the straight out of camera photos? Why would you want to see that, or why will I even show it to you, when the entire process of creating an image is actually composing, getting the proper light for your subject, or manipulating the light to make your vision into a reality. And then the third one will be post-processing. Post-processing, for some people, actually takes Photoshop to another level, or photography to another level for them. But in my case, I actually just do some minor enhancements and sharpening in terms of the image. SOOC photos for me is basically like asking that photographer to show you unfinished work. Let's leave it as that. I'm sure a lot of people will have some their own opinions about wanting to see SOOC, because they probably don't understand that it can be lit that way, or they feel that it was manipulated for it to look that way. Then fine, so be it. But of course, respect our rights also if we say, no, I don't want to show it. So yeah, I'll leave it as that. Okay, so I guess the point of this video is basically stop asking questions that won't make you a better photographer. You ask questions that will educate you more, or basically answer specific things that you want, or you want to understand. Because again, enlighten me, guys, enlighten me. Leave it in the comment section below, please. How does knowing the camera settings make you a better photographer? Or how does flash settings make you a better photographer? Or how is seeing the SOOC photo make you a better photographer? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you did, and subscribe to the channel, because I really do try to make educational content. And While you're at it, click that notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you want to see some of my images, you can always find me on Instagram. It's at Jiggy Alejandrino. Okay, till the next video.